Hey, what's up? This is Randy from Lamb of God, and you're watching Heavy Consequence on Consequence of Sound.
There are specific, topics you tackle. New Colossal Hate, which is a twist on a very famous poem, the New Colossus.
Yeah, very good.
Yes,
Someone's
Emma
paying
Lazarus.
attention.
I know the poem. It's on the base of the Statue of Liberty. And,
Someone is paying attention.
And that whole poem was about welcoming immigrants to a new country, welcoming people, and you put a twist on it, and you're calling out this country. Obviously, there's the detention centers. Trump wants to build this wall, and I just wanted to, talk about that topic and, why you wanted to put that into music.
Well, I think, when you think about, I'm glad you read that. You're the first person who has spoke to me about that. Obviously the lyrics are a reworking of that poem, which is inscribed at the base of the Statue of Liberty, which is really, when people think about America, and what is one of the symbols of the United States of America, it's a Statue of Liberty. That's why a bazillion tourists go there every year when they come to New York City. And, it was a gift from France, I believe. So there's already an international component to it. And I think, for me, the kind of important thing with that song, is I'm not saying that border security is not important, because I believe it is. I'm a pragmatic man. You know what I mean? I wish that there was no need for an armed services. I wish there was no need for cops. I wish there was no need for doctors because cancer didn't exist. But in fact, all these things exist, and we have to deal with them in the modern times. What I see that is disturbing to me, and I use the Statue of Liberty as a metaphor, and it's not just here in America, you see it in other countries, is this sort of shift toward xenophobic attitudes, where people are afraid of people from other places because their skin color, their religion, their beliefs, the way they live their lives are different than ours, right? And I don't want to sound pedantic or asshole-ish here or anything, but I travel around the world all the time, and not just with my band. I travel as just a regular dude, and I don't stay in 5-star hotels, and so forth. And I found that generally everywhere I go, and Henry Rollins talks about this a lot, and he goes to some fucked up places I wouldn't go to. He's like, I'm going to Afghanistan, I'm not that crazy. But everywhere I go, when you meet people on an individual basis as humans, it doesn't matter what color, race, religion, creed they have. If you can connect someone on an individual level, they're just a fucking human. And we all want the same goddamn thing. So I think the demonization of like other groups of people, under no matter what category you're going to place them, is wrong. It's small-minded to clump people into groups and say these people are bad. And there's that sort of xenophobic, weird nationalist sort of thing going on that, I don't think it's right. It's not right. It's not like I don't think it's right. I know it's not right, because I get treated well wherever I go, and not always because I'm the dude in Lamb of God. I go some places, and as long as you act like a decent human being, for the most part, people treat you like a decent human being. And I see a lot of also, this sort of anti-immigrant sentiment. It's kind of moronic, because America is the melting pot. There are no true we're real Americans unless you talk to the indigenous people, and we stole it from them. I have friends on that side of things too. So people have this strange perception of like America. America is made up of many different cultures and peoples, and that's the great thing about it.
Yeah.
That's the great fucking thing about it. We have everything here.
Yeah, and one of the real sad things about America are these mass shootings. And Reality Bath, one of the songs, those first few lines really hit me hard because I have a 5-year-old daughter that's about to go to kindergarten in September.
Yeah, it should hit you hard.
And it's just, when I think about it and like, you talk about, children having to be frightened in their classroom. And obviously, you're from Virginia. We had Virginia Tech several years ago and Virginia Beach last year.
Yeah.
And you've seen it close up in your state. My question was obviously, it's an epidemic here, but it's also what can we do to stop it? And what is the government not doing, right now?
Well, there's, that's, like I said, I'm a pragmatic person. So some of my opinions may not be the most popular, but right now we're dealing in I believe that there's been a shift somewhere. Something has gone wrong, right? In the way we raise our children and in the things that are glorified, and to the point where it's an option for kids to, like, they're getting picked on or whatever, go into school and just start blowing motherfuckers away. And I think that really came into the national consciousness with Columbine, right? But that was after my time. So when I was a kid, I grew up out in the country, right? I would come to school and, starting in October and November, kids would come to school, to high school, driving their pickup trucks straight from the field that morning from going hunting. And sometimes there'd be a dead deer in the back of the pickup truck and there'd be guns in the gun racks, right? And no one ever thought that somebody was going to grab a shotgun and go into school and just start blowing people away. It just didn't happen, and there were guns on school property, and it was not a problem because it had not sort of come into the consciousness of the youth as some sort of solution to their emotional turmoil. And they also couldn't get a bazillion looks on Facebook or whatever. Their name would not go down in infamy at that point in time because social media didn't exist. So I think, there's a definite shift in the consciousness concerning firearms and concerning how, I guess the sanctity of human life maybe is becoming less and less, and I don't know exactly how that happened, but I know it has happened because I never worried about getting shot when I was a kid, and I got picked on. I got beat up. I was not a popular kid, but I never thought about fucking shooting everyone, So something has happened. So we're at this situation now where we have all these guns and we have these kids who are viewing this as a valid solution to their emotional angst. So screaming gun control, gun control, gun control, that's not going to solve it right now. It's not. I think about this a lot. I hate to say this, but I think in places of education and stuff, I don't think arming all the teachers is a great idea either. I mean, I know I went to the March for Our Lives thing and I saw teachers, these are school teachers walking around. I'm a school teacher, not a sniper. They don't want to walk around with, machine guns. That's not part of their job. But I think increased security in schools is a necessity, at this point in time. I really do. That's just the pragmatic side of me. We can say, oh, people can't get guns. The guns still exist right now. I think increased attention to the mental health, because as I said before, there's been a shift in consciousness. The mental health of every student is important, and with the mass shootings, it's going on. And this also will not be popular with some people. I mean, there needs to be common sense gun reform laws put in effect. There need to be, absolutely. It makes no sense for people to own 15 AR-15s and 100 clip magazines. I mean, what the fuck? Are you preparing for the zombie apocalypse? I think there's a deep deep-seated issue that needs to be addressed, though, because even if the guns weren't available right now, if all of a sudden I was able to go poof and none of these kids could have a gun, something has gone wrong up here. Something has gone wrong in the soul, where it has become even a thought in a 12-year-old's head that I'm just going to go to school and kill everyone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's and
that song Reality Bath, though, it's not just about the school shootings. It's about just the nature. It's a reflection of the nature of the insanity of modern times. The other side of that is I talk from the perspective now of an older dude, and he's walking through the place where the jungle was, and everything is burnt to ashes. That's something I've seen with my own eyes. Parts of the Amazon just gone. I've been there. And those areas, not just the Amazon, but these areas where these forests are, that's the planet's lungs. That provides us oxygen. That and the ocean, So we're polluting the ocean. We're burning down our fucking rainforest, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's the song Reality Bath is about that, but it kind of ends on a hopeful note, rather. People have to wake up.